Welcome to the Not For Kicks podcast.
Can we go again?
It's hard being host, isn't it?
If you need to win 10 games, you are not winning the league.
Welcome to the Not For Kicks podcast. You're here with your host, G. And we've got a star-studded, well, actually, just a normal panel here of George, Marv, and Ollie. Gents, how you doing tonight?
All good, G. All good.
Good evening.
Star-studded. Did you say you're the host?
And did you say not for kicks? I think I heard not for kicks.
What's he doing here?
He said not for clicks. And I said I had a star-studded panel, but clearly I don't.
I feel like you wrote that joke down and tried to deliver it, and then we were just like, what the hell?
Allow me, man. I'm new. It's nerves.
Let me come up with a joke to offend the panelists.
Can we go again?
No,
Ollie's usually the adjudicator.
I was waiting for Ollie to jump in. I was surprised that you guys went in first. We're cool. But yeah, so since the last pod, all of our teams won. So hopefully this will be a harmonious pod. So no beef. AJ came out of explosive victory out in Saudi Arabia. Another boring F1 race. Advantage Arsenal in the title race? We'll see. We'll discuss that a bit later on. And it was International Women's Day last week and Mother's Day on Sunday. And shout out to all the female listeners and the ladies in the group as well. So
wow.
Wow.
Speaking of that,
say something about feeding the children. There's any more favour that you want to carry in your intro?
Oh, that'll be by the end of the episode. Don't worry about it. Cool. But speaking of females, jumping into the quick hits, and I'm going to start with you, George. When her career's over, will Simone Biles surpass Serena as the greatest female athlete ever?
I don't think she will, because I think if you look at on the field of play, for want of a better phrase, I don't think she will, and her resume is absolutely ridiculous. I don't think she will surpass what Serena's done on her field of play. And I know it's weird comparing gymnastics with tennis, is a weird one, but I just think if you look at just like accolades, majors won in individual sports, I just don't see her coming close to what Serena's done. I think, and I don't pretend to be an expert in gymnastics, but I don't think she had the level of competition that Serena would have had, especially in the first half of her career. I mean, that's relevant. And if you look at off the field of play and away from sport, Simone Biles has had a huge impact in terms of, I think she was the first, I think I'm right in saying, Ollie maybe have to correct me here, but she was the first athlete of the last kind of 5 or so years that came out and spoke out about the strains of mental health, and she took a step away from the sport and was brave enough to kind of say, I think it was ahead of Olympics, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was ahead of one of the Olympics. She kind of took a break. And I rated that. Everything, nothing comes before your mental health. But I still don't think it trumps what Serena's done off the field of play and what she stood for, not only supporting, women's rights in sport, Black women's rights in sport, and being an entrepreneur as well. So I think Simone Biles is a phenomenal athlete. I rate her so highly. I love what she does. It's my favourite Olympic sport. But no, I don't think she'll surpass Serena Williams.
Cool. That was a long response for a quick hit, but I'll take it.
Sorry.
Appreciate it, George. All right, cool. So Marv, I'm going to go on to you. And big news coming out of the NFL this week. Saquon Barkley, the star running back for the New York Giants, is moving on from the New York Giants, going over to Philly. You'll have to explain the context a little bit for the boys as well, but where does Saquon lie now in the history of the Giants now that he's making this move?
Well, he's dead to us. Simple as that. Simple as that. Let me give you some really quick context. So we've had a running back who's been with us for quite a number of years now, probably one of the best running backs in the league. The New York Giants made a grave mistake by not paying him as his contract was due to expire. Instead, we paid our quarterback because we can't pay everyone because there's a salary cap. Our quarterback's not that good. We should have never paid the quarterback. But not only has Saquon obviously left the Giants, but he's gone to one of our division rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles, who's in the same conference as us. And he is like lording it over us. He's just posted something on Insta where his New York Giants top changes into a Philadelphia top. And like the Giants are up in arms. And Giants legends are picking fights with him. And he was just like, you're a hater from the beginning. You never liked me. So don't try and give it the bigger now. It's turned pretty toxic, but I would say this is probably the saddest day for me in NFL history because I've never had a player that I've loved so much. I've had lots of players I've loved go to other teams, but to go to an arch rival and basically say he needed to go somewhere and win is a real dagger to the heart. So it's pretty brutal for me, actually. I'm actually thinking of taking next season off all sport, and the two dependencies are how the Giants do in the draft and who's going to manage Man United next season. If those two don't go my way, I think I'm just going to disconnect, spend some time with my family, and not get involved in sport at all, to be fair.
Wow.
It's that bad.
Okay. I mean, he's not quite a Gabe Davis moving on from the Bills, but, I'll take it. Cool. And finally, Ollie, who is more important to Red Bull, Horner or Verstappen?
Ooh.
Oh, wow. I think drivers come and go, and also engines are kind of, they're in for a couple of years and then someone surpasses you. So, and maybe Verstappen will be looking to go somewhere else anyway. But it's a hard question to answer just because we don't know what. Well, we've seen some messages, but we don't know the ins and outs of what Horner's done. Obviously, if he's guilty of whatever he's being accused of, then yeah, he's got to go, and there's no question of who should go. But given his longevity there and what he's achieved there with different racers, with different drivers, shall I say. I suppose he's the constant that should stay there, because I think that Verstappen, especially if he wins this year for a third year in a row, may well be looking to go somewhere else anyway and looking for another challenge. So I think drivers come and go, but your inside team are the ones that you want to keep together.
Being billed as one of the best races we've had in years, we've got City chasing 4 in a row, trying to eclipse Fergie's record of 3. We've got Arsenal in the race properly for the first time in like 20 years. And we've got, and will Liverpool send Klopp out with a bang with a final title? General consensus is this weekend is advantage Arsenal. And I saw a lot of fans saying, a draw was the best result. But I didn't quite see it that way. And I want to put this to you, George. Would a Liverpool win not have been better for Arsenal, bearing in mind how good we know City get in the final straight?
But it's funny you mentioned that, because all week my stance was, I think of all the scenarios, a Liverpool win would be best for Arsenal, simply because I'd rather chase them down than try and chase down City. So to what you're saying, we know that City get into a groove where they can bang off 12, 13 games, wins in a row. We know they can do that. So my thinking was, the more points City drop, especially considering apart from us, you can't see any other opportunity for them to drop points, the better. But then I thought, actually, a draw as it's panned out puts us top of the league, and we're in control. And I think, unlike maybe last year, we've maybe timed our run better. I think we're peaking at the right time. I think last year we peaked too early. So now is the time, arguably, you kind of want to be top. So I think the draw was for them to both drop points and us to be top. We're going to see how good Arsenal are now. Right, we're going to see how much metal they've got. We're going to see if they've learned lessons from last year. We're going to see if they can keep players fit. So yeah, I initially agreed with you, but just before kickoff, I thought, actually, I think having won our game the night before, I think us being top and having destiny in our own hands, I think that's probably the better of the two options.
Good. just got a quick follow-up question, George, because Arsenal have won 9 in a row. Great form. You know, Kai Havertz 4-4. You know, 60 million down the drain and all
King
that.
Kai.
Keep on hearing about. How many wins out of 19 do you think Arsenal would need to get to secure the league?
Out of 19?
Yeah. So you've got 9. You've got so you've got, and there's 10 games.
next 10.
How many of that next 10 do you think you need to get?
I think we need to win 9, and of those 9, City's got to be in there. I think we've got to be pretty much perfect to win this league now. I think probably 10, but I think you may be able to get a draw, one of those 10 games, if you're thinking that City or Liverpool if we beat City, they'll drop points, and you're hoping Liverpool can slip up somewhere. I think we've got to win 9 of the remaining 10.
Great stuff.
You got to come to Old Trafford, player.
Yeah, I know.
Be careful. You know what I'm saying?
I included that. Trust me, that wasn't.
Yeah, you include it. You include it. You include it. Yeah, big talk.
Marvin, let me tell you.
No, I know. You're not worried.
The 10 games coming up. The 10 games coming up.
That's the banker.
All right.
That's the banker.
No, I didn't say banker. I was going to say that is not a game we're concerned about.
Just keep giving me the fodder. Do you know what I mean? It's May the 11th. We'll have man back by then, you know.
Luke Shaw's back.
Luke Shaw.
Hey,
not Luke Shaw.
Listen, Luke Shaw will give Ben White torment down that side. You know what? It's fine. I've got nothing to lose here. But if you think you're gonna come to OT and man's gonna roll over, it's a big.
But hang on.
No,
Marvin, put the bravado down. Before we move on, Marvin, put the bravado down for 1 second. Be real. Do you honestly think you'll beat Arsenal at Old Trafford?
I think we have a chance of beating Arsenal at Old Trafford, yes.
Oh, that's not bravado.
What I'm saying is, what are we now? We're in March. We're 2 months away from that. Hart could get sacked. We could get my boy Ollie back. Lots can happen. But most importantly...
What, Ollie?
Oh, man, I'd have Ollie for like 10 games for just giggles.
Marvin's right. Move on. Ask Ollie a question.
Just for a caretaker job, I'd have Ollie back for vibes for sure.
Would that be your last home game of the season?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
They're not. To be fair, George, they're not going to want to go out with a whimper. They want to give their fans something. If that's the last home game of the season,
like, let me tell you,
because Ollie, we've never won the league there before, have we?
Oh yeah, let's go back before the iPhone, shall we?
Not in the last game of the season, though, right?
But let's just really think about the way Jordan positioned it. He's asking me to put the bravado down. He's going on like he's just gonna waltz into Old Trafford with 3 points like candy from a shot.
But
like
Marvin,
it's easy pickings.
But Marvin, of the two of us, who do you think's got the more reason to bring bravado? Me or you, right about now? Okay.
So hold on, it's a contest of bravado. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying he's got the ammunition.
It's not about ammunition, George. It's about the fact that you're going on like you win at Old Trafford every season in, season out. It doesn't happen.
I never said that.
Even when we're playing poorly, it does not happen. So for you to put it as a banker, and to be honest, even you saying we got to win 10 games, if that's what you need to do, you ain't winning it. Simple as that, right?
Okay.
Simple as that. If you need to win 10 games, you are not winning the league.
Okay.
Gee, let's move on.
Okay.
Really, you should have said, we need to win 7 and we need to hope City and Liverpool drop points. Don't come to me and say you need to win. All right, well then I'm telling you, I don't believe you're going to win the league. Simple as that.
Right. You're doing the mad thing, and that's a fair opinion. That's a fair opinion. That's okay.
Well, the fair opinion should be, I think we need to win 10, and we ain't going to do it. That's what a fair opinion should have been.
No, but I don't believe that, so why would I say that?
You think you're going to win 10 games?
I think we can win.
And then you're telling me to leave bravado at the door. You think you're going to win 10 out of 10?
I'm backing my team.
George, let's just be clear. You've won 9 on the bounce. Bravo. But you're saying you're going to win 19 games on the bounce in the Premier League. Has that even been done in the Premier League?
I never said that either. So you're so hyped up. You're not listening.
No, you said we need to win 10 if I'm honest with you. That's what you said.
I said we need to win 10, but I think 9 might do it. That's what I said.
But what I'm saying is, if you're saying you need to win 10, if you're saying you need to win 10, that's 19 on the bounce.
Yeah.
So you think you're going to do that?
I don't think it's laughable.
Finally, the bravado's coming in a bit.
It's hard.
I think it's
very, very hard. That's fine. I don't. What's the issue? Fine. I don't. Fine. If we don't. We don't. If we do, we do.
Oh, well, that's profound. That's really profound.
I don't know what you want from me.
What I want is somebody telling me not to put the bravado down when they're oozing of bravado. Because one thing I can't stand is hypocrisy. That's all I'm saying to you.
No. I said that we're both showing bravado, but I'm saying only one of us has the right to show bravado right now. That's what I'm saying.
All right, Jez, let's move on. I'll also add in that exchange that Tottenham also play all three teams.
You know what, G? Of all the fixtures, Bar City, the game that I'm most concerned about is the Spurs game. Believe me, it's not Old Toilet. It's not going to Old Toilet. If any game I'm concerned about, it's Spurs, and that says a lot about where United are. Let's go. Let's move on.
Also, there's a postponed game, Chelsea and.
What is this, man? What is this, man?
Just throw it in there. All right, so we've kind of touched on it. Was a good weekend for Havertz. Good weekend for Ben White as well. I think he put up a really good performance, and Saliba also. Not such a good weekend for Ramsdale, right? Had his chance. David Royale, cup tied, or whatever you would have called it, out of the team. And Ramsdale really had his chance to kind of make an impression back in the team. And he did make some good saves after, but he will mostly be remembered for that mistake, which could have cost Arsenal some points. Ollie, do you think that's the last time we'll see Ramsdale in an Arsenal shirt?
I still think he's got a chance there because I don't know what George thinks, but I don't think Ray has been that impressive in goal. That I still can't get my mind off that goal he let in against Porto in the first leg, and that was such a bad goal from a goalkeeping perspective. He's just never looked. Ray has never looked. He's never looked that confident to me. I think he's improved a little bit, but he doesn't look like he's that confident. And I don't think he's been the upgrade that Arteta thought he was going to be. So there's still a chance for Ramsdale, but on the balance of probability, I would say he needs to look elsewhere. Really, he needs to go somewhere else because
he's done he's done. He won't play for the club again. But I think Raya has been fortunate that he's been behind the best defence in the league. I think he's not really been tested to really. We don't really know how good Raya can be because he's not really been tested.
But why do you think Raya's been so poor though? He hasn't been poor, but why has he been? He's been less than what people expected him to be. I thought Raya was going to be a great signing.
I don't think he has. I don't think he's been. No, I don't.
I think he's been a bit shaky, George. Come on.
In the early parts, but as you said, I think he's improved. Is he a significant upgrade for all the hullabaloo? Probably not. But to G's question, I would argue that mistake that Ramsdale made is maybe the fine margins of lack of concentration that Mikel Arteta has spotted, that he thinks you're a really good keeper, but I'm just not sure about you in key moments. And that let's have it right, guys. If we draw that game and then Liverpool or City win their game on the Sunday, we're massively on the back foot. That could have cost us massively. So I agree that Raya is not a worldie, no way. But I'm going to back Arteta's judgment that he thinks that Raya can do something in key moments that potentially Ramsdale can't.
But what is it that makes Raya's mistakes worse than Ramsdale's? Because you've got to take into account Ramsdale hasn't been playing regularly, so you've got to expect that he's going to be a bit shaky. Raya's been playing regularly, yeah, and he's made mistakes in big games.
Not since Christmas. He's been pretty solid.
He made that mistake.
Okay, the Porto was a shocker.
Was terrible.
All right, that was a shocker. Okay, that aside, since Christmas he's been pretty solid. But again, I don't want to give him too much praise because he's been in front of a defence that you can't get shots off. So it's difficult to judge how good he is. We're going to find out now with 10 games to go when the pressure comes. We go to Old Trafford and we host Chelsea, and we're going to really find out how good this keeper really is, because it's not just about who you're playing, it's about the pressure and the timing of which you're playing under. So I agree, it's not a massively significant upgrade, but I just think that we saw in that era from Ramsdale potentially why Arteta wants to move on from him. But he's done. Unless Ray gets injured, you won't see him in an Arsenal shirt again.
All right. Marv, You're running Arsenal. Are you happy with how you've treated Ramsdale?
What's it again? I'm fine happy.
If you was running Arsenal, would you be happy with how Ramsdale's been treated?
Well, I think they're all complicit to it, aren't they, G? Like, Arteta didn't make this decision by himself, right? Clearly, they all thought that he's not the guy, even though, 2 seasons previously, he was the guy. They shelled out 30 million for him. And now Arteta, following his boy toy and mentor idol and sexual symbol Pep, and decided he needs a goalkeeper, a footballing goalkeeper, and Ray is the best option they had. So I don't think they care really. I agree with Ollie to an extent that for me it's not just the fact that they've brought Raya in. It's just the way they've articulated it. Like it's a competition. Ramsdale still got a chance. It never was. You don't bring in a goalkeeper like that unless he's the new guy, right? Or else you bring in like some dead second one like we brought in Heaton, and those sorts of signings is how you clearly know a second keeper, right? They've brought Raya in to be the guy. They couldn't get the deal done permanently, so they did it alone. If Arsenal are successful this season, they'll make it permanent. Ramsdale,
I think it's been done, Marv. I think it's pretty much done.
Yeah, so for me, I don't think they care. I think they're maniacally focused on winning the league. They think Ramsdale's a weakness to their ability to do that, so they've made moves. But they should just own that and not try and sugarcoat it for anyone. And in fact, they should have probably given him the opportunity to leave in Jan just so he can see if he can get into the Euros, which he probably won't do.
I disagree with that, Marv. It's not really Arsenal's job to think about Ramsdale's future. If they need the rest of the season, then why would you let him go?
Well, hold on. It's not their job to what? So it's not their job to think about the player's future generally. Is that what you're saying?
Not beyond Arsenal, no.
But what I'm saying is, if they've misled him, right, which I think they have, I think they can sit down and have a conversation and just out of like just being dignified people say, look, you're not going to be the number one for a season, nor have you got a future at the club. Even if they gave him a loan to try and get into the England squad, a bit like what we did back in the day. But
why does Arteta care about him getting in the England squad?
I'm not saying Arteta should care about it from an Arsenal perspective, but I'm saying if they don't need him and he's surplus to requirements, I think that's a nice thing to do. But I hear what you're saying. You don't want to be nice.
It's not about not being nice, but if Raya gets injured and breaks his leg... No, I'm just saying... I'm saying why should Arsenal care? Arsenal got to think about the rest of the season. If Raya breaks his leg tomorrow, we've got a brilliant guy that can come in and do a job. Now, to Ollie's point, is his confidence there to perform? Who?
You're calling Ramsdale brilliant?
I think he is brilliant. I think he's a very good keeper. Good keeper.
It's totally contradictory to what you've just said.
What did I just say?
You said he needs to go. He's done. So
from the perspective of Arsenal, you're saying they should have let him go in January. I'm saying, why do they care about him reaching the Euros or getting minutes? Their position clearly is you can go in the summer when we can bring in a proper number 2. But until then, you stay here. That's hard to understand.
I hear what you're saying there, Jordan. That's right to an extent, but the thing is, it's about how much his head's been messed up by what's gone on there. And if it's the case that he needs to get out of there for everyone, for the which would be best for everyone, then yeah, maybe they should have let him go in January. Because if that kind of thing that happened the other day is going to happen on a regular basis now, because his head's shot, then he's not the brilliant keeper that you're saying. He's not the brilliant keeper he was, is he, anymore? Do you know what I mean?
Potentially, but then the 2 saves in the second half, does another number 2 keeper make those 2 saves? Possibly not.
No, maybe not. Yeah.
Possibly not. So I'm saying overall, it's net worth keeping him to the summer.
Yeah. No, I hear that. But, as you said yourself, that's the sort of game where, say, Arsenal hadn't come back and you got a draw, then it's a different story, isn't it? The 2 saves aren't going to get over it.
No,
but, you got the win, so no one's really complaining about it. But it's a difficult one because I just think in that situation it needed to be clear from the outset. Listen,
I agree.
Raya's come in, he's my number 1 now, and take that as you want. But you're here for the season. You've got to suck it up and get on with it. You're a professional. Get on with it.
I agree.
All right, lads, want to move on from Ramsdale. Just as we haven't touched on them, I think we should kind of talk about City and Liverpool, the other players in the race. De Bruyne was taken off.
Just really quickly.
Yeah.
George, I think Arsenal have beat Man United twice in 16, 17 years.
Ollie, can you see how rattled Marvin is? Can you see how rattled he is?
What? I'm giving you a statistic.
Rattled.
I'm just giving you a statistic.
I'm cool.
I'm cool as well. I'm just making
Good.
sure.
Okay.
I'm just making sure, because for me, if I was listening to this pod, I'm in the car, the pod's on, I'm going to be like, why isn't Marv highlighting the fact they've beat us twice in 16 years at Old Trafford and George going on like it's easy pickings? We've been rubbish for years. 16 years. Let's go.
Do you want to put a bet on it, Marvin?
I've got 20 quid right now.
Oh, no,
20 quid, you don't win.
Proper. No. 50 quid, no. 50. Do you think you'll beat us?
No. You think it's easy, Jordan. I'm telling you it's not. So you gotta win. Simple. If not, G's got a next segment to move on to.
Why don't you both pull it? If it's a draw, it goes...
No. He said he's gonna win. He did not say 9 wins and a draw at Old Trafford. He said that's the one he's not worried about, G. So he's got to win. Win. I've got £50. You let me know. It's not about being rattled. It's about principle, and it's about calling you out on your BS. If you're gonna win, you put the money down. Put the money down.
I would have betted if you back your team. I'll back my team. But you're not backing your team.
Your team with a win.
And you do the same. You do the same.
I said you got to come to Old Trafford, which means I don't think it's a win. I didn't say we're going to pack you out, Jordan. I was very selective in my words. I said you've got to come to Old Trafford and win, something you've done twice in 16 years in the league. So if you're confident...
All right, a score. We put £20 on it.
All right, fine. I know it's deducted after you went, it needs to be proper money, but you can have your £20.
£20.
The bet's done.
Bet's done.
I'm not having it anymore, man. I'm just sick of these Arsenal fans, mate. It's just repulsive. The attitude is repulsive.
We should probably do
Spurs is the one I'm worried about. That like you are sucking off your arch rivals to get one-upmanship on me. It's ridiculous. Ollie, I'm worried about Spurs. Who says that? What Arsenal fan says that? Come on. Listen,
I meant in comparison to you.
Listen.
That's what I meant. Of all the fixtures coming up, the Spurs one is much higher on my agenda than the United game.
Listen, Liverpool got to come to Old Trafford in the FA Cup, and it doesn't look good for Man United. But you know what I'm going to say is, I'm worried. I'm worried about Liverpool because you know what? It's rivalry.
Mark, you should be.
I'll tell you if I was worried if we lose. Other than that, I'm going to be here front line. I'm worried about Spurs. That's the one I'm really worried about.
No. Don't lose the context.
Exactly what you said. That's what you said.
In the context of in comparison to you.
All right,
all the fixtures coming up, the Spurs game will be a harder game than the United game.
All right, cool. Well, let's see in it. Let's hope you lose both.
Maybe we should do a live stream of that game, see how that goes, because this is hilarious. but I have to move on. I want to do, like I said, we haven't talked about City or Liverpool, so just a couple of quick questions about that. I'm going to go to George because I know he's a big fan. And De Bruyne was taken off, and to be honest with you, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about De Bruyne recently. I've never seen Henry or Lampard be taken off when, if the team needed to win. But let me just ask the question. Not so much about being taken off because anyone could be taken off. And clearly, I don't think he's fully fit. But in 2014, Jose questioned his mentality. Is there maybe an argument that maybe Jose was right about his mentality? if not his ability, his mentality?
What about his mentality are we questioning though? Is what I would say.
Can I give you a few examples?
Go on.
So, I mean, in a recent interview, he kind of admitted that maybe he was impatient over leaving Chelsea and kind of held his hands up.
Oh, I see where we're going here. I see where we're going.
Also, in build up to the 2022 World Cup, he was asked the question, can Belgium win? And he said, no, we're too old. And basically dismissed, he's supposed to be a leader for the team, dismissed the rest of the team. And then now he's come off sulking. And there's just like an imprint of De Bruyne in my mind, a lasting memory of when City are in like the hardest parts where he's either injured or being taken off because he's injured. So
I think that's fair.
I'm just wondering, is there something about the mentality that's lacking there a little bit?
I think it's a fair question to ask. I don't think it's a ridiculous question to ask. I think that there are examples, as you mentioned, whereby in some of the key games over the last 5 or so years, he has been either not injured or he has been taken off. I don't think he was taken off because I don't think he was sulking. I think he looked like he was saying someone wasn't doing their job, which meant that I couldn't do my job, which depending on how you look at that.
But that's a bad mentality in itself, right?
Well, what if he's right? What if someone wasn't doing what they needs to do for him to do what he needs to do? What if he wasn't getting
surely
the ball?
You call them out in the dressing room or
maybe,
you don't make that public?
Maybe. I don't know is the honest answer, but I think it's a fair question to ask because there are examples that kind of back up your question. I think
Can you give me some, George?
What's that?
Examples of KDB when he's not turned up. Or when he's been injured. I know he got injured in the Champions League final, but maybe and he didn't. He got injured after 60 minutes in the one against Chelsea, but he didn't show up in that final.
He wasn't great. No, he wasn't great. I think
that have been a lot of City players, though, right? In that final,
that is also true. I'd be a lie if I could pick out specific games right now, but I have definitely, and I'm a big fan of his, so I can say this honestly because I'm a fan of his. There have been some big games in title races, even games they might have won, where I would expect a little bit more from him. So I think that is a fair criticism or question to ask of him. But what are we saying there, G? Are we trying to imply that he's not the rounded world-class player that he's been acclaimed to be?
No, I'm not saying that at all. He is a great player. And for me, he's in the top 10 of Prem history, not number 1. And I think that's not an insult. I think that is, that's a high compliment. But I do feel like De Bruyne is kind of missing his Istanbul moment or his gigs in the semi-final moment that a lot of the great players have.
Okay, yeah. I think that's, again, fair. I don't really have much of a response. I think that is fair. I mean, it's a little unfair to kind of judge someone on not having a highlight moment. The amount of stuff that he does that doesn't get a highlight on a highlights reel, which I think other players, your favourite Lampard, would never be able to do. That list is long. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's a little bit unfair to say that he's not had an Istanbul moment.
Yeah, but it's not so much the highlight. It's more like that moment where you've dragged your team. Like, let's be honest, City have gone on and won titles when he's injured, where you think that he's most needed, but they've just gone on and got the result regardless of him being there or not.
I'm baffled by this conversation, I can't lie. This is just G trying to prove that Jose's right. Like, he just wants to suck off Chelsea right now. And George, you're indulging it. Like, I wouldn't even mind, right? But I'm
with you, Marv. I'm with you on this. I gotta say, I'm confused. I'm thinking, have I missed something?
Who took the corner for Stones' goal?
Yeah, it was a good corner.
De Bruyne has I think in 9 games he's been involved. He's had 5 assists and a goal. When he came off the bench, I don't know, was it you he was playing? Oh, I can't remember who they were playing when he came off the bench in his first game back. Newcastle. So, yeah. Goal and an assist, right? And City weren't playing well, right? And the bottom line is, G, the man's a competitor. He wants to be part of the big games. And he was saying to Pep, you're bringing me off for Kovacic or Doku or whatever. I can affect this game. I love it. I wish Man United players were like De Bruyne. For you to then turn it and give examples of where he's been a shook one is just you trying to validate that it was okay for Chelsea to let him go, and we both know that's rubbish.
I'm not saying that. I'm not. Bear in mind, G, I said ability, not. I mean, as a mentality.
You phrased the question: was Jose right? That's how you tried to do it.
Was Jose right to question his mentality?
No, he wasn't. He was right to leave, and now he's at the best club in the world. So it was the right thing to do.
Oh, so City are the best club in the world. You talk about George sucking off the rivals. City are the best club in the world now.
They won the treble. You got to give credit where it's due. They're not the biggest club in the world. Right now, I can't say it's Man United, G. Right now, they won the treble. And that other poxy cup that you bragged about winning once you win the Champions League. So, but
Fair enough.
I'm
Listen,
saying it to prove the point.
I just think if you're that crucial to your team and you need to win the biggest game of the season, I just do you get taken off? That's my question.
Well, that's a different question because it's not his decision whether he got taken off, right? It was Pep's.
Yeah, but I think he's.
And that's why it was Pep's.
But I think he's getting taken off because I think Pep is saying, "Hey, I need something else in this game." And what I'm saying is, all those other players who are in that bracket.
But I would also argue, G, sorry, from a tactical point of view, Kovacic came on. I don't think Kovacic came on because he thought, I need an extra weapon to try and win the game. Kovacic came on because he's got legs. And I think he recognised the midfield was getting bossed by McAllister and Endo. And he needed legs to see the game out. So I think it wasn't so much about a criticism of De Bruyne's ability. It was more, as a team, we are getting run ragged here. I need legs. De Bruyne's got a lot of things. He hasn't got legs.
I think it was a criticism of his performance on the day, which wasn't great. And, we've talked about him, to be honest with you, he was exceptional in that cameo against Newcastle. And he's done things in between, but I don't think he's been quite his best since he's got back.
G, you tell me then, where are all these games that he hasn't turned up in?
Look, for me, the one that stands out is definitely the Champions League final in Porto. But it's not so much that and he didn't show up against Liverpool either. But it's not so much that he doesn't show up. It's that more that if he's not there, City still find a way to win.
But that's the luxury of having a world-class player in every position and cover. Do you know what I mean? Not every team has nearly two world-class players in the position. So if the best player in the team isn't there, they've still got plenty to get through.
I bet Haaland misses De Bruyne when he's not in the team. No? How many goals has Haaland got KDB to thank for?
I'm sure he's got a few, but I'm sure he's also got a few for Bernardo Silva. You know what I mean?
Not as many, not as many, G. Nowhere near as many.
Look. Kevin De Bruyne is the best player in the Premier League over the last 7 years. He's Chelsea's biggest ever failure. I am not here saying...
Well, bigger than Salah.
But yeah, bigger than Salah, 100%. 100%. So this is not me playing down or trying to make the excuse, but this is me saying that at key moments, my mental image is of him sulking.
It's hard being host, isn't it?
Let's move on. Final question. Final question of the title race. Ollie.
Yes.
Did Liverpool miss their chance?
Yes, because if you put City on the rack for a sustained period like they did, you need to win the game. And I don't know. I was surprised that Liverpool had that in them, really, that kind of performance, because I've not really been that convinced about Liverpool this year. And yeah, when they've played against Arsenal, they weren't that impressive, home or away. And they've been getting results, but they haven't really impressed me that much. And so I was surprised that City found themselves on the rack to the extent that they did. And that was a chance for Liverpool to go back top of the league. They could have got a bit of distance between them and City as well. So yeah, it's definitely an opportunity missed for them, I think. And I'm not sure whether Liverpool have got what it takes to see it through to the end, even with all this wave of emotion stuff to do with Klopp leaving and all the rest of it. I still think that in the end it's about Arsenal and Man City probably.
What I will say though, just briefly, because I know we've got to move on, G, but none of us are kind of big fans. This whole big Jurgen Klopp loving, and it's kind of nauseating in a massive way. But you do have to give him credit for having that many players out against a City team that, bar Grealish, had everybody fit, and they still managed to not only compete with City, but they probably should have won the game in the end. I know City had some good chances too, and that I think is a testament to the management of Jurgen Klopp. But none of us are big fans of his. But I just think we've got to be honest and fair and say, I don't know if any other manager does what Klopp did on Sunday. I thought City might pile him in. That's how bad it was. I thought City might have some fun, and they almost lost the game. So I think that is a credit. Despite, I agree with Ollie, them not being great. the kind
They're
of
never,
the
they're never,
management.
they're never dead, are they, Jill? That's what you have to say about Liverpool. No matter what, they're never dead. You know, even against us, I know they'll be crying for to eternity about the way they lost at Spurs. But they had 9 men. And they still, they still held out until the very last kick of the game, or nearly the last kick. And the other day, as you say, they're down to playing a lot of their kids, and they really gave City a going over. So yeah, what I will say about them is that you can, even if they were 2-0 down at home, which Barcelona found in that famous Champions League game, they're a couple of goals behind or whatever, they're still not dead, Liverpool. They'll always keep coming under Klopp.
Cool. Great stuff. And yeah, they do never die, as I found out in the vlog for the camera.
I was going to say it, G, but I thought that'd be cheap. That'd be a cheap shot.
All right, lads. Now, moving on to boxing. I was about to say an enjoyable weekend of boxing, but I guess I'll put that out to the group with it. But an explosive win for AJ. Marv, was that a bigger win for AJ than it was for boxing in general, or boxing for AJ?
Good question. I would say it's a bigger win for AJ. I think we talked about it before. He just couldn't lose it, G. Do you know what I mean? Like, he had to win it. If you let a UFC fighter, if you had a UFC fighter come in and beat him on a big money fight, it wouldn't have been a good look. But credit to him, it was commanding, it was explosive. Probably not worth me staying up for, to be honest, because I was knackered, but he dispatched him pretty. It was actually pretty embarrassing. I always say, when your knee abandons you, your leg doesn't know which way to turn. You've been thoroughly. So yeah, I think it was a bigger win for AJ, but I think it put the sort of new wave of UFC and YouTubers on notice that when you mix it with like proper pedigree, it can only go one way. And I know Fury kind of refuted that a little bit, but AJ.
Why do you think, Marv? Why do you think Fury made such hard work of it then?
Didn't prepare.
I mean, the thing about Fury is, I mean, how many times has he told us he's going to retire, and the money keeps calling him back? And I think he's relying on the fact that actually, as a pure technical fighter and having a very solid chin, he can just dine on it. I don't think he took it seriously. I thought he thought it was going to be light work. And despite Ngannou not being a professional boxer, the guy can still hit hard, right? So I actually think if Fury fought him again, he would win easily. He just wasn't serious about it at the time. And I think he should have lost, to be fair. Like, I don't know what the refs were doing.
See, I kind of have a theory about, especially after seeing them all together, like Fury clapping AJ on. And Fury's done this before, where he kind of plays to the opposition, right? I think he did this with the Wilder fight. Like, he lost the first one, having beat him comprehensively, like in the next two. Ollie, do you think we're just being set up here? Like, Eddie Hearn is just trying to get, the audience back for kind of AJ versus Fury, which kind of looked like a one-way fight 6 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes round and round in circles, isn't it? It's kind of, you kind of think to yourself, well, after AJ lost the last time to Usyk, you're thinking, well, where's he going to go now? And what's going to happen to his career? But we're back to that stage now. He's beaten Ngannou, and now it's this talk about, yeah, he's going to fight the winner out of Fury and Usyk, and you're just like, wow, are we there already? I'm a bit confused by it all, really, because I got the impression that after he lost to Usyk for the second time, that was it. He can't really go back there for ask him for a third fight. But it sounds like that sounds like the noises that everyone's making now, that he's in the run-in for the next title shot after this fight with Fury and Usyk. So yeah, I mean, that's the way it works, isn't it? I suppose that that Hearn will be kind of looking at the opportunity to get another matchup between those two again in Saudi Arabia. There's lots of money involved. Fury. I don't know if Fury doesn't win, then is it such an exciting fight for British fight fans? Maybe it is, but I don't know. I just feel like it's going to take a lot for me to feel like I can kind of renew my interest in it all, really, because I just feel like it's all a bit of a merry-go-round, and it's not really doing it for me. Usyk has proven beyond doubt that he's kind of head and shoulders above everyone else, and everyone else is just kind of, just doing their greatest hits at the moment. Do you know what I mean? They're not really pushing the boat out, which is why you end up with, Joshua fighting against Ngannou, which to me was just like, really? I just think, well, why? Why should I take this seriously?
Oh, my issue is just there's so much time wasted. There's so much talk. There's so much content. There's so much talk around contracts and broadcast deals, and I'm not a boxing fan. You guys know that it's not a sport that I check for. But even as an outsider, I just see it and I just think to myself, if you are a boxing fan, nothing's happening. In the heavyweight division, in the top division, the division that draws the money and generates the money, the one that matters, if you like, nothing happens. There's just so much talk, and it's just like, and then when you do get a fight, you're served up with these clown fights. If I was a boxing fan, I'd be close to being done. I
don't know. I mean, Marv, you've probably got a better insight into this, as someone who follows it and watches it. But, just before you were going to say something, but I just wonder as well, if you're a fight fan and you're kind of, and you're watching all of these fights being made, but they're all now being made in Saudi Arabia, and so you're basically being told, well, your job is to sit down and watch these fights and pay for the pay-per-view. You're not going to, we're not going to be making these fights to bring, a couple of years ago, remember when we had all these big events at Wembley and packing out Wembley or whatever, and it was like a big, massive event, 80,000 people. And now it's kind of, we don't need you anymore because whenever we make a big fight, we're going to take it out to Saudi Arabia. So your only chance of watching these fights is to watch them, through the pay-per-view. And I just wonder if, I don't know, maybe the fight fans are more loyal and more kind of dedicated than I think they are. But how sustainable is, I don't know, what do you think? Is that sustainable, Marv, to keep doing that when the fights aren't even that exciting?
Well, we talked about it, right? Like, the Saudi money's just there, and as Adi said last time, like, these boxers need paying. Like, they've gone through 90% of their career not getting the big checks. Once the big checks roll in, they got to take it. But the one thing I wanted to challenge you on, if Fury fights Joshua, that's the biggest fight in 5-10 years at heavyweight for Britain. Like, fans will pay for that. Fans will go to Britain, Saudi Arabia.
Not for world, but for Britain, yeah?
For world as well. Like,
really?
You look at the three, it's Wilder, it's Fury, it's Joshua. Fury and Joshua, both British, never been in the ring. It will be for some unification or all the belts. Like, it's a blockbuster. And I actually just think the UK couldn't compete with what Saudi will give them to have the fight over there. But the fans will travel. Loads will get arrested for drinking where they shouldn't be, but it will be a big fight. Oh, do you know what I mean? Like,
hold on.
I don't know. I don't know how much I want to see it.
If Usyk wins this next fight, he wins this fight against Fury, then what are they fighting for? What are they fighting for? What's the unification?
No, because I'm assuming,
right?
Yeah, if Usyk fights if Usyk beats Fury,
he's got all the belts.
He's got all the belts. I'm guessing he'll put them on the line for Joshua, and then it's like, you know how Sky will bill it, or the Zone, or whoever. It'll be the rematch, right? Joshua got embarrassed by him.
Rematch.
Yeah, it'll be the final reckoning. If he doesn't win this, it's over. Like,
final reckoning.
You're wasted, Marv. That's what you should be already going to Sky and telling them. The final reckoning.
I'm telling you, there'll be no way Sky can't spin the life out of whoever Joshua has to fight. like, he could get in the fight. He could get in the ring with Chisora, and Sky will find a way to make people interested. Like, Fury, Joshua. It changes, like, even the non-boxing fan is going to watch this because it's a long time coming and there'll be a lot of talk. It will be big. It will be. Eddie will dine on that. I don't know about G. G's getting pretty deep in the conspiracy theory of whether... I think Fury was just rubbish, G. Don't look any more into it. Like, he was just rubbish, right? But
I hear that, Marv. I think I'm just talking about... I'm probably just talking about me, though, really. I just feel like I'm not... I'm not invested in it. I'm not invested. Even if Fury and Joshua finally make that fight, it's too late, man. It's too late. And especially if Usyk beats Fury and he's got all the belts, what am I watching? Do you know what I mean? I'm just watching the best of British having a slugfest in
no,
in
but
Saudi.
that's not it, right? I think if Usyk beats Fury, Joshua fights Usyk. Like, Fury Joshua's not going to be made if there's no belts on it.
I ain't there
if
for
Joshua fights the winner, you ain't there for that.
I'm not here for that. He ain't winning, Marv. He's not winning. He's been beaten hands down twice. He's been beaten hands down twice. I don't see it being any different the third time. Honestly.
You know what? I'm in your camp, but that means I ain't going to watch it. Do you know what I mean? Like, just because it might be a dead rubber, but I'm going to watch it because he's got a new camp. He was bigging up his new setup and how it's changed his style and how it's more devastating. I'm telling you, Sky or whoever's going to cover it, right? They're going to make me want to see it. And if that it means a presser where Fury's dad gets involved and headbutts AJ, something's going to happen. And we're going to watch it. Like, let's not be shameless on this. We're watching it. Ollie, you're watching it too. You're coming to my house, you're watching it. Because I know you'll want to watch it. Like, let's not pretend here. There's nothing else in that division.
Can I just very quickly parallel park? I know we've got to move on. Master over. Alex is doing his nut, producer here. But just quickly, we all saw the news about Mike Tyson coming out to fight Jake Paul? Who was it again? Sorry, Jake Paul. And the first thing I would say is the fight won't happen. The fight actually won't happen. I'm adamant the fight won't happen. But the mere fact that boxing can even float this as an idea, I just think says where boxing is. It's in the gutter. Mike Tyson will be 58 when this reported fight is meant to happen. And I think it's so embarrassing, not only for Mike Tyson. You fought some of the biggest fighters in your career. You're big Mike Tyson. And on your resume, you're going to get knocked out by a YouTuber. I think the legacy for him will be totally tarnished. But I think more importantly for boxing, again, boxing fans come at me and talk to me because the fact this could even be considered, I just think says where the sport is. I think it's so sad that Mike Tyson, a 58-year-old guy, is interested in fighting. He was in a wheelchair about 2 months ago.
How much money?
He was on crutches in a wheelchair 2 months ago.
How much money's on that?
Crazy money, but I don't think it'll get sanctioned.
I think Netflix are picking it up apparently, so that'll be another interesting way to.
I'm mad that it won't happen, but I don't think it will happen.
I love how Jordan is like his reputation will be tarnished. You don't think the rape charge and biting a man's ears tarnished his career at all? What are we saying here? He's not got a spotless record right now. He's got bills to pay. You know what I mean? John's going on like he's some pillar of society. He's someone that needs money, Jordan. Do you know what I mean?
on that note, let's move on to Haney versus Garcia. More controversy in the world of boxing. Marv, I was really looking forward to this fight, but now I'm just a little bit worried. Should this fight be called off?
I don't know what's going on with Garcia, but something isn't right. It could be CTE. I don't know what it is, but he should not be fighting. The whole Illuminati, the clips he's been putting all over the place. I just think that, you know what? Let's just make sure he's okay, right? Like it's as simple as this, right? Something's not right with him, and I would love to see the fight as well because actually, contrary to what a lot of people think, I think Garcia is actually a very gifted boxer. But like, at the very least, the people around him should be like taking his phone away, right? I think he's done about 3 or 4 uploads that are seriously concerning. And I don't know, maybe like somebody said to me, maybe he just doesn't want to fight and he's trying to like come up with an elaborate way to say he can't do it. But I don't think the fight should happen. And I think they need to get round him quickly and do some inspections, if I'm honest.
There's just been this really erratic behaviour. he's made a video and said that his phones have been taken away, that his credit cards have been stopped. He's floated a rumor about him being arrested. He's kind of compared himself to like Kanye and Elon Musk. He says he's a child of God, but he's been putting up 666s on X. There's just been this really like spiral of like weird
more
behavior.
than that. He said he's witnessed like the dark arts of Hollywood. He's witnessed a rape. He's seen the Illuminati. He's been forced to do things by his family that he doesn't want to do. This is not a man that's okay. Yeah, he's not. He's not okay. So, if it is the sort of fight, it might be working because I probably watched that one too. But I don't think it should happen. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it should happen.
Cool. Okay. Seeing as the our other two guests haven't really been paying attention, let's move on to our doc review this week. And unfortunately, I got to hold my hands up here. My Amazon wasn't working today, so I haven't watched it. So I'm relying on you guys to carry the torch. So we, and again, in line with International Women's Day, we are going to look at.
Jesus Christ.
Gee, does your missus listen to the pod? Is that where we are? Or is it your mum?
I hope she does. We're going to talk about Married to the Game. Ollie, you've been a bit quiet, and it was you that suggested this doc. So how did you enjoy it?
I quite enjoyed it. I can't lie. I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite amusing. There were quite a few things that made me laugh in it, actually. Very early on in that first episode, what's her name? I can't remember Riyad Mahrez's wife's name, but is it Taylor? Taylor, that's it. She was saying that she could never think about moving abroad, and I just thought, I can't wait until you get told. I can't wait until you hear the news that you're going to Saudi Arabia. And when she did hear the news, it was quite funny because they interviewed her, or they had her sort of talking on a camera and driving her car, and she was holding it all down, but you could see that there'd been a lot of tears that night. She had been crying her eyes out. So yeah, it was. I thought it was quite amusing in quite a few ways, actually. There's quite a few of those couples who don't look particularly happy to me. The only ones who actually look happy, funny enough, the couple that look quite happy and seem to get on quite well was Jorginho and his wife. The others just they just seem to be they seem to existing. They just seem to be existing, just getting dragged along wherever they're. I mean, what I don't understand is they're talking like, oh, it's really hard for us. You just wake up one morning and you find out that you're moving somewhere. It's like, don't you ever talk to your husband? It's like
Then you watch Sky Sports News.
Yeah, but if you're in a relationship, you're in a relationship with someone, surely you actually say, oh, you know what? I'm in talks with this club or that club, and there's a choice of this or that. What do you think? And you have a chat with your partner. It's not like, we're going to Saudi and there's no conversation whatsoever. Even she's got like her own business that she runs with her sister, in the case of Mahrez, it's just like, we're off to Saudi. There's no conversation. You would think that, irrespective of the fact that you're a footballer and you earn a lot of money, don't you have a conversation with your partner? I found that quite weird, actually. And then kind of Gundogan and his kind of weird thing where he's like getting his missus to fold up all his clothes for him. He just thinking, why didn't he fold up his own clothes? There were a lot of things that I just found utterly bizarre and quite revealing and funny. So yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I thought, as an insight into how these guys live, I found it quite amusing.
Great stuff, Marv.
I thought it was the worst thing I've ever watched. I can't lie to you. I thought.
Yeah, I agree.
I was annoyed at Ollie for suggesting it. And you know what? I usually like my regular dose of trash TV, yeah? But it was bad. Like, it was bad on 3 levels, right? The first one is they all clearly had a motive. Like, Riyad Mahrez's wife had the jewelry line. The lady had that styling charity or whatever. And no one cares about Matt Turner. Like, how did he even get on the show? Like, he is as low down on the football pecking order as the
Somebody
world.
pulled out, Marv. Somebody blatantly pulled out.
Somebody pulled out. And like, Ollie's talking about...
The other two probably got... Did they get in because Mahrez and Gundogan went off to different countries? Is that why they got in?
Maybe. The funny thing is, I should have known that there was an alarm bell when I went to watch it, and I'd realised my missus had watched it before, because we don't have similar tastes and things like that. And the funny thing about it was that killed me was saying like Jorginho and his wife or Mrs. seemed the most loved up. She was the most annoying person.
Oh
on
my
the
God,
show.
Marvin!
Like literally.
Oh my God!
I thought to myself, this is why Jude Law did not stick around, right? Like, you are annoying. And she kept
Oh,
talking.
hang on. Is that Jude Law's ex?
So the daughter is Jude Law's daughter. It's not Jorginho. So Jorginho's got one kid with her. She's got a kid with a previous relationship.
Okay.
Which just means she loves the scene, George. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. she ain't here for an honest day's work. You know what I'm saying? And like, for me, I just thought, like, footballers' wife stuff is always a bit techie for me, whether I'd like it, but it was just very shameless self-promotion. The only things that really entertained me was, like, anytime Mahrez popped up, he just didn't care. He didn't care about her. He was like, it's the game, isn't it? Like, and like, people, he was like, the bit that made me laugh, she was like, loads of people were phoning me, telling me, and he hadn't even spoken to me yet. It's like, he doesn't care. You'll do as you're told, or he'll divorce you. Like, it just, like, that was the only hilarious thing for me, right?
That's what made me laugh.
The show overall was...
That's what made me... That's what I thought was funny. Marv, can I just...
Well, it was like... Go on.
Can I just ask you, Marv?
Would you say,
No, I was just going to ask you. Can I ask you, what's... I heard Jorginho and his partner, Kat or whatever, saying that they met on an app. What app? Yeah. What are footballers going on? I'd love to know what...
You know what? It must have been... There's an app called Raya, right, where it's celebrities only, and obviously they must have put "Why are you famous?" and she must have put "Ask Jude Law" in the comments, because beyond that, I don't know what else she's done, and that's how it came about, right?
So she's Jude Law's ex, right? I didn't know that.
She's Jude Law's ex, yeah.
Okay.
And it was like, I can't believe you were like, they seem so loved up. I just think Jorginho just feels stuck and like he's got a kid thinking, oh man, let me just stick around for the visa sort of thing, just in case. Like, it wasn't enjoyable for me as well. I would not recommend.
I'm with Marv. I thought it was dog. I think the only funny bit for me was the bit where I think it's in episode 1 where she has a party and she's asking Jorginho what she should wear.
Hold on. How many episodes have you guys watched?
I just watched 2 because I wanted to see.
You got to the second episode.
I watched 2 as well. Yeah,
I watched 2.
I did it for you. I did it for you.
Yeah, I did it.
Wow, I'm impressed.
He's recommended it.
You two thought it was so bad that you watched 2 episodes. I can't believe.
Research purposes, Ollie. Research purposes.
You know what?
You hearing this? You hearing this?
I can't believe it. I mean, you said it was all right.
You know what? I actually thought it's got to get better. You know what I mean? You know when you see a movie to the end at the cinema and you think, I should have left halfway. That's how it felt. Because I don't even know if it was towards the end of the second bit, but one of the hilarious bits was they did this whole spiel about how hard it was to be a footballer's wife and people expect you to be perfect and all this stuff. And then she was sitting in a clinic waiting to get her chin done because she didn't like the way a photo looked. And I was just like, man, this is terrible. She was sitting in a surgeon's office talking about how she worries about how her daughter's going to be pressured about her appearance. And I'm thinking, you're in a surgeon's office. Jorginho's missus.
Right, okay.
So yeah, I mean, yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. I
can't tell you. Listen, when I say I liked it, right? What I'm saying is, I thought it was. No, I'm not reversing at all. I'm saying
it's worse than Poch.
It amused me. It amused me all the way through. I think it's quite funny to watch the way these couples live, and I thought it was quite amusing in that respect. I ain't saying it's like it ain't gonna win an Oscar. Right? It ain't going to win like the BAFTA or whatever, but it's just amusing. That's my point.
Cool.
I'm not reversing.
How many clicks, Ollie?
I will give it. Are you allowing half marks?
Yeah, go on. Seeing as I didn't do the homework.
I'll give it 2.5.
All right. Marv?
0.
Wow.
0.
Zero.
All right, George, so you're the deciding vote. What are you saying?
It's a 1 for me. And not because I'm anti-trash. I don't mind trash TV. But as Marvin said, even by trash TV standards, this was really poor. It's not difficult to make good trash TV. Yeah. It's not that difficult to make good trash TV. And this wasn't good. It's a 1 for me. Sorry.
Wow. All right, so it looks like we've got 1.5 clicks, the worst show based on what everyone's seen so far.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. let's move swiftly along.
You're not sorry, George.
No, I'm not.
All right. And now it's time for this.
What you talking about, Willis?
All right. This one was hard. This one was a hard one because we had many. There
was a lot this week, Marv. There was a
lot, Jordan. I was wading through it. And I'll give a quick honourable mention to Tim Sherwood, who asked Cole Palmer a ridiculous question, trying to set him up just to make headlines because he's got nothing else going on in his life. I encourage you to check that out if you saw it, but just insinuating that Chelsea should build their squad around Cole Palmer, and the only reason why they're playing half decent is because of him. They should build a team around him because all the rest of the Chelsea players are terrible. I thought it was just a really stupid question, to be honest. But the Willis of the week, it's actually a corporation and a player this time, George. So I'm giving it to it's multifaceted, but it's got to be the right back stroke right winger stroke central midfielder stroke. Everyone says he's a great dead ball specialist, but no one knows where he can play and can get tortured on any given day by any left winger. Trent Alexander-Arnold for his comments on Man City. I've got to give him the Willis of the week, but he's not alone, George. I've got to give it to Sky Corporation as well, because in terms of their way of twisting and turning and injecting maximum value on a game that didn't need to be sold, George. It's a top of the table clash. We were all going to watch it. And every press conference, whether it be Haaland or Pep or Klopp, was asked about Trent's comments. I thought it was ridiculous. But let's not lose sight of the comments, right? He was basically insinuating that although City have got more trophies, been more successful, Liverpool's success means more because of where they are in the financial setting and because of their fan base. Utter, total rubbish. Trophy wins prizes, Trent, and unless you've got as many as City, they've been more successful for you. No one cares about the Liverpool fan base. I definitely don't care about the Liverpool fan base. And of course you've got no money because it's Liverpool, right? There's nothing going on there. He's getting Willis of the week. It was a ridiculous thing, and Sky was shameless the way they amped it up. It was terrible. They must think us as the public are really stupid. And the fact that poor Pep and I'm saying poor Pep, geez, listen to me. But the fact Pep and Haaland had to deal with such a stupid question and a stupid comment, and it was played in my face 7 times before the game, was just utterly ridiculous.
Can I just say I agree with every single word Marvin just said, and I'll go one step further. I wouldn't even give it to Trent. I think it's solely on Sky. I put this at the feet of Sky. I totally agree. I was discussing another one of my groups and just thinking to myself, why have Sky tried to make up formulate this stupid fight between two players? It doesn't need to be there. I agree with what you're saying, Mar, about Trent. And his comments were just like, whatever. But the mere fact Sky tried to then run to Haaland and say, oh, have you heard what he said? It's just, for me, gutter journalism. And I get it. It's content. I get it. But for me, it's the lowest form of journalism. I have no time for it. And of all the things you could have tried to drum up a bit of beef about, that wouldn't have been the thing I would have been personally running back to Haaland to tell him. So I endorse that 100%.
Marv, thank you very much. We're at time, gents, so we've got to make a move. Remember to listen, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. G signing out.
Can I just say, before you sign out, G, to Marvin, remember, when the fun stops, stop. Yeah? That's all I'll say.
I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. Gamble
sensibly. Gamble sensibly.
On that note, we're going to call it a night.
£20 is really going to break my bank balance.
Marvin, it starts with 20. It starts with 20.
Gee, George, let me tell you, yeah. You're telling me this about 5 years too late. It doesn't. I've gone past 20, and I'm into triple figures easy on most of my bets. So I appreciate it, and I like the compassion. But you're about 5 years too late on this. And let me tell you, you're gonna have to remind me about this bet because in the scheme of the bets I do, it's very insignificant, right? Like, let me be very clear.
Oh, don't worry, I will. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, peace.